everyone, welcome back. We are out again on a wonderful day to ride here in winter. Out doing a little more practicing on the Electra Glide, getting some riding in before we head off to Daytona. Beautiful day here in Nebraska. We have a windy day. Put my thing down there. Pretty windy, but we're gonna go out and try out this setup because I'm thinking this is gonna be my setup, except for the fact that I would wear my dark visor. I believe this is going to be my setup when I head off to Florida. So we're out trying that out today, and I'm fogging up really big. Okay. I'm going to go off and get my meds, and then we're going to try a little route. So I'm trying out a app today for doing my route. This one's called Calimoto, and I built some of my route in this map. And so I'm going to try and use it, see how well it works. It allowed me to pretty quickly build this trip that I'm doing today. Got a good north wind today, pretty windy, so I probably won't do a lot of talking on this, but my challenge has been in making this trip for going to Florida has been in how I am mapping it. So I built my route for going in Google Maps, My Maps. So there's a My Maps function in Google that allows you to build your routes. But the challenge I have had is in how it handles then in the navigation side of it. Look at that, and it's really bending that pole. So my trip down there I did in 3 different mapping apps. The first day I am traveling, man alive, you can see how this wind gusting is blowing my head around. But this is going to be the types of situations I could get into when I leave here in the beginning of March. I could see the temps easily being like they are now. We're in the upper 30s today. Upper 30s, lower 40s. I think the high was supposed to be 41. When I had seen the map just a little, or the weather just a little bit ago, it said like 38 or 39. Wind is approximately 22 miles an hour, gusting to I think 30. So this could very easily be the type of riding that I will be doing when I leave out of here. And I will show you my whole route here, heading down straight south as quickly as I can. Straight into southern Kansas, staying on the Kansas side of the map, and then kind of jogging over in southern Missouri, then going down through northwestern or northeastern Arkansas side, down through Memphis, then down through Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, well actually Tennessee, Mississippi, and then down through Alabama into Georgia and then Florida. I plan it to be about a 3-day trip. Not gonna do any iron butts or saddle sores or anything like that, considering this is the first time on this bike for a long ride. So I'm trying to, in the meantime, before then, get out whenever I can in the cold and dress up. Woo! And get out in the cold and ride to practice getting ready. So initially I was going to go with my son Noah. He is not going to be able to go now because he is a new real estate guy, and I will put a link down below of his little Facebook real estate thing where you can kind of get a hold of him if you like to do that. If you're looking for a home in the Lincoln area or the eastern Nebraska area, southeastern Nebraska area, he could help you with that. He's learning a lot of stuff pretty fast. He's already sold a couple of houses, but he is off kind of on his, knowing that's going to be a busy time for him. Spring is always a busy time for real estate. He knows that he can't go during that time frame. So I am just going to be solo riding now down to the bike week. My daughter and my wife are going to be joining me down there when we're down there. And so we'll partake in some of the activities with them. Also hoping to meet up with and trying out some different mapping apps. So I've created my route down to Daytona using the Google Maps. There's a create your own maps capability in Google Maps, and I was having trouble figuring out how to do that and then being able to navigate from those maps. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. As you can see here, there's Maps and there's My Maps. There are two different functions within Google Maps. So if we go into the My Maps app, there's all kinds of different maps that you can make. And here I made my trip to Daytona Bike Week. And if I choose one of the areas where I go to, there's no way to take this map and actually navigate from it. But there is a way that you can go around that, is by choosing one of the areas, and then when you go into it, when I tapped on it, you see it brought down here at the bottom, the little area, and if you go into that, then you can go up here. Let me go back to that. Up here in the very top is a little arrow. You can click on that little arrow and it will take you to maps. So you can go from your location to that area, but then if you want to go to the next one, you have to select it and do the same thing. So you can't just keep going from point to point like when you build a map in Maps and you add extra stops. So where this becomes valuable is then when you go to your computer. And I'll show you how that shows up in your computer. Okay, so then on your computer, the way this works is you go over here to the menu And when you choose the menu, you can go down to your places. When you go into your places, there's places where you can label areas on maps. You can also go over here and create maps. So the nice thing is, it makes it easier to go into this area and create your maps on a computer to be able to navigate with. Only thing is, even though these are a function within Google Maps, they don't actually work together navigation-wise. Fix this, Google. So here's the challenge that you have. I have a beginning and an ending, and I have 8 points in between there. When I go to add another one, it tells me that's the maximum number of destinations has been reached. So if you're doing a long trip with a lot of waypoints in there, you can't get all of them listed to be able to to be able to continue your map. You have to make a completely another map within the Google Maps app itself. That's where My Maps comes into function, because you can add more of those through different layers. Only thing is, you can't then navigate with them unless you go point by point by point by point. So that is what brought up using the other apps such as Kalimoto and the Harley Davidson app. So here I will show you with the Kalimoto app, you can have lots and lots of different maps that you make with lots and lots of waypoints. As you see here, this particular one has 20 some waypoints to be able to navigate with. Likewise, when you go into the Harley Davidson app, you can also add multiple routes. This one in particular has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but you can add a whole bunch more as well in the Harley Davidson app. And it gives you weather. So I am going to use these on my trip down to Daytona, and will give you a review at the end of all of this on things that can be improved with each of the apps and how well they worked for my trip to Daytona. Hey, so this being said, I'm going to come back to you after I've traveled to Daytona, and I'm going to give you a review on how Google Maps worked, Google My Maps works for navigating point to point to point, and then also how Kalimoto works, how the Harley Davidson app works, improvements on each of all these that they could do, and also going to give you another app that I've ran across that I haven't actually used yet, and we'll review those after we complete Daytona Bike Week. So join us for Daytona Bike Week the rest of this week. Later. Bye. Oh, keep the sunny side up, keep the rubber side down, and have an utterly awesome day.